Hello and welcome to Last Time On. This is the podcast for people who want to watch all this prestige television, but who's got time for it?
You know I don't.
I definitely don't have time for it, but let me check the bingo card here. Okay.
Yeah.
Who had underage lesbian sex with a cancer survivor
Hi.
on a couch?
Not me. Not on my
shocker.
bingo card.
Oh, man. Welcome back to Last Time On, everyone.
I'm Xhafer.
And I am Ben.
Who has
And
magically still survived this season of Shameless, even though he's had like 6 strokes and 19 heart attacks.
Ben's really hoping for another 20-something roll here.
I don't know. I'll admit, I think
Despite him vetoing my mercy dice last episode.
there's rules.
You betray the law!
Fair.
Yes, and we make them up as we go. That's the nature of improv, Ben.
I know.
You
I taught
might be
improv.
familiar.
Don't improv-splain me.
I will improv-splain the shit out of you, Ben.
I will say, and Laura, this is for you. I think I might be finally starting to get onto this show's wavelength a bit.
Really?
So I was able to get to the point where I'm just like, okay, some of the stuff that happens in this episode has taken us over the Rubicon of I'm sad to now this is absurdism.
Okay.
And so I think I'm finally just able to get to the point where I'm not feeling bad for everyone involved, and I'm able to just enjoy this show about the worst people you can think of.
Yeah. It's a real, like I mentioned earlier over text message, it's a real MST3K mantra. You just repeat to yourself, it's just a show. You know? And it's like, I've always been a huge fan of dark comedy. Like, this kind of reminds me of a cross between, like, it's got the same vibe as Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like, not quite as bad. Like, they are way worse on that show, which is kind of hard to believe.
Well, and I think that's
Shameless.
like, I like It's Always Sunny, and I think part of why I've been able to like get over with It's Always Sunny a little bit better than with Shameless is because It's Always Sunny goes that like extra 3 steps harder.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Where
Yes.
you know,
Like, this is barely believable.
yeah, like if any of these people actually did end up on a boat talking about the implication, I'm like, no, I'm just going to witness like a slightly heightened sexual assault here. This isn't going to be funny.
You have put words to the thing that I have been thinking and feeling, but been unable to express entirely, Ben.
Yeah, it's just like the saddest people, like the saddest thing you can think of. We'll add a 5% onto it. It's Always Sunny is like, oh, we double it, and then here's a chaser.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like, the It's Always Sunny people, undeniably worse people. Worse stuff is happening. Like, nobody's been rickety-cricketed here.
Yeah, Shameless dials it up to 11, but Always Sunny kind of dials it up to 11, breaks the knob off, and then cranks it around again to 11. So
Yeah. And that is why I can enjoy something like Always Sunny, but why I cannot enjoy Shameless, I feel.
I feel like,
well,
so this is actually, I think, part of what is interesting about our experiment. This is now our 6th episode?
Fifth.
And I think I'm, 5 episodes in, finally starting to get on the show's wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
If I had gotten onto the show's wavelength, we're, 5 episodes in, we're not even halfway into season 1.
Yeah.
And so maybe I enjoy this more having acclimatized to it. Now, that said, this show does seem like it is always finding new ways of kind of bringing down every character involved. So, maybe it would just keep surprising me. But I feel like I'm finally starting to get to where this show wants me to be.
Yeah, it's hard to tell with the, to borrow the parlance made popular on Game Changer. I feel we were talking about that before recording. The amuse-bouche of a show that is our podcast. We get just this kind of like little sampler platter. We are the deep fried sampler pack appetizer of the show.
Oh no, we're a beige plate?
You could order the onion rings and the mozzarella sticks and the chicken wings, or you can get 2 of each and call it good. And we are the calling it good of television review podcasts. And I'm perfectly okay with that. But it also means that exactly that we haven't acclimatized to shows. It takes us more time, which also means that we're witnessing stuff that you're not really meant to in a very interesting way, because, you know, we're in season 6 and we have not acclimated to the show. So it forces us to experience things so out of context.
Yeah, there are definitely been some things where I have a feeling the writers are just like, hey, they know what the deal is. If you're jumping, nobody's jumping in middle of season 6 of Shameless. So we can have and we'll get to it more, but the aforementioned most distressing seduction scene I've ever seen. And the writers are like, they know, like, nothing's actually going to happen here. Like, they know the audience knows the score, and we're like, I'm just learning the score. We are, the middle of the 3rd inning in a baseball game where I'm trying to figure out the rules.
And the way we do it, middle of the 3rd inning, the way we do it here on Last Time On, it's like we're middle of the 3rd inning, like half a dozen Bud Lights in our system. So
yeah.
Oh man, now I just want to, Vic, you need to come up and visit us so we can do a 999.
Okay, what's a 999?
A 9?
Is that like a 666? Because
no, it is. You go to a baseball game and you do 9 beers and 9 hot dogs in 9 innings.
Oh Christ! Oh, okay. Well, over 9 innings, that's not that bad.
That's like 3 hours. I mean, although they have made the games faster, which does make it a little bit more tricky.
Will that be my initiation as to being a Detroit citizen? Or,
no,
or like,
no,
what
it's just
else is involved?
that is just
like, no, not even close.
It's just a baseball thing. It's not even a Detroit thing.
Oh, okay.
No, the Detroit citizen initiation is we give you a slice of Buddies, and you go, that's pretty good, and then we go, it's trash. What the fuck are you talking about? There's 5 better pizza places you've never heard of.
Okay, is that a square pizza? Because I'm learning these things about pizza.
Yes. Yeah, Buddies is the like quintessential Detroit style pizza. Like when someone describes Detroit style pizza in a like culinary sense, they are probably thinking a Buddies pizza. That has kind of been the bar definition. Debatably the originator of the style, but definitely of the restaurants that could be the originator of the style, it's the one that's still around, so they get the title, because history is written by the victors.
Yep. It is written by the victors. Speaking of victors writing history.
Well done. Look at that segue.
I'm very proud.
I'm proud of you, you know that. I hope you do.
So proud.
Yeah. So
that's your podcaster graduation right there. That segue, you've done it.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Well, I got my deck of cards here, and I've been getting so many emails from our fans about finishing up they want to know what's going to happen next on the Stargate SG-1 episode that we made last episode. And
you want to do part 2?
Come on, guys! This is the joke. The last episode hasn't aired yet. So
I know.
You're supposed to be able to say,
I was getting ready to play along.
No, we can't though. Yeah, no, you have to play along with that. Now you failed podcaster school. You can't acknowledge that you record episodes ahead of time. They only exist when they air.
Oh man, this is 2 steps forward, 19 steps back. That is
we were so close. All right. Well, we may as well just get into the episode now.
Yeah, let's do that.
Now that the bit's ruined. Maybe we'll come back to it next week when we actually get response on how it went.
Yeah, that was the joke I was going to do.
Yeah, it would have been fine.
Okay, yeah.
All right, we've got Shameless season 6, episode 7. What was this?
Pimp's Paradise.
Pimp's Paradise. I thought I might have written that down wrong, and I didn't.
Nope.
Yeah, I have theories on what this title is referring to, or like who it's referring to, or well, anyway, let's just dive in.
Well, it's what Carl does to the house.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought it was referring to Kevin and Veronica and their vacation in air quote paradise in that shit motel that they're
Okay.
going to.
And
Because
Kevin
Kevin is a
pimping.
pimp.
Is an actual pimp.
He's a doorman. I don't know. It's yeah.
Hard
I don't know.
to say.
Haven't heard back from the listeners yet in the Discord about their experience. No one with pimp work experience on their resume.
So, we open on Carl, who has changed his style since we last saw him.
God,
I am
I
not
wanted to
surprised.
slap him.
Not surprised at all.
Carl comes in with the widest cornrows I've ever seen in my life.
So, he's
And
pouring one
I was-
out for Nick, who we never met.
Nope.
He's pouring. I was curious if this gave Ben anxiety. He was pouring out
A 40.
oh god, I'm drawing a blank.
A 40 on some carpet.
Yes, exactly. He was pouring a 40 of what looks like old. I think it's old English malt liquor onto the fucking carpet.
This. Oh, I'm so mad. You have to rent a steamer for that shit. It's
Yeah.
gonna smell for forever.
Actually,
Now,
I was thinking,
guys,
wondering if the
come
carpet
on.
is
Speaking
so bad,
of-
a little bit of
Guys.
alcohol and yeast actually cleaned it up a little bit.
There is no way that is the defining smell of that house.
Well, speaking of smelling bad for forever, Frank and Queenie, by virtue of subtitles, are fucking.
Oh god, that was yeah.
Which Frank is
And-
still alive. Hey.
Frank still alive. We get confirmation of your theory, Ben, in this episode. But before that, Fiona wakes up at Dermot Mulroney's place.
Regulators.
We know this
Oh
guy.
yes, it's the
It's
yeah. I
Dirty
looked this up.
Steve.
It was yeah. He was the least famous of all the young guns, right? Yeah, because I was like, this guy looks totally familiar, but I thought he was somebody else. So I looked him up on IMDb, and yeah, I was like, oh, he was in Young Guns. I was like, Jesus Christ, Young Guns had everyone in it.
Young Guns is
Fucking-
great. I love Young Guns.
Yeah. I'm due for a rewatch of that one. That's a good movie.
The
Do I have your copy of Young Guns right
yes,
now, Ben?
you do. You never gave it back, and I've never bothered to pick it up. But yep, it is.
Okay. I'll make a point of watching it here soon.
It is the historiography of it is completely off,
Yeah.
but it's super fun, and I love it.
Bet you it's more accurate than the history class version of it I learned here in Texas. So.
Dermot seems mostly aware of things. You know, he what's going on in the house and stuff. He seems to be in the loop. So this is not we have missed stuff with this character. This is not
Yeah.
an introduction.
But it is confirming. I think it was Ben whose prediction was Fiona would have a different lover every episode.
Unfortunately, we've
So-
seen Steve twice.
Yep.
But if we find out in one episode about two, that
Oh,
does
we
put me
already
back on pace for an average
Okay,
of
in a future episode, yeah. Yeah, I think you're safe there. I'm willing to to give you
Well,
those points already.
if that's the case, you are safe because the episode with Steve again was also the episode with the husband, I thought.
I
No,
don't
that's the
think
one where
no.
she called him. And then Steve is
Okay.
back when they are working at the
That's right.
the,
yeah.
the, the factory.
In
And
the
now
foul.
Steve is gone
Yeah.
again.
The word, right?
Anyways, we find out Frank and Queenie were kind of like high school sweethearts. They knew each other when they were teenagers.
And she is Sammy's mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Frank has recovered from a liver transplant.
Yay!
So, Ben, way to call that one.
Now, I've got a question for you guys.
Oh,
you
man,
you
here
didn't make it a
comes.
prediction, so you don't get a point.
I know. That's fine. Frank got a new liver.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know of the medical system, there are a lot of
Oh,
things
no.
that disqualify you from getting a liver. And Frank has done all of them.
Oh, yeah.
So how did Frank get this liver, guys? Let's get weird with it.
What? All right, let's get weird with it.
Let's get weird.
So, I happen to know a lot about liver donation and what does and doesn't disqualify you.
Wait, was that part of your mandatory course as a brewmaster apprentice? Is how to get a replacement liver?
No. This is much sadder than that. It has to do with my dad.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. There's a lot of stuff that will disqualify you, including just being too close to dying.
Oh, yeah.
Which is definitely the case for Frank when we saw him. We know that this wasn't done. It wasn't just that the liver was received unscrupulously. I believe that the liver was transplanted outside of the American medical system as it stands. So he got a back alley liver. I'm going to guess Taiwan. That seems like the stereotype that this show would lean into. He goes overseas, maybe Mexico, something. But he goes to another country and someone wakes up in a bathtub missing 2/3 of a liver. And Frank wakes up with a fresh 2/3 of a liver.
Fresh 2/3 of a liver.
Yeah, they don't take the whole thing.
Yeah. So your liver is 2 lobes, and one is 2/3 of your liver, and the other is 1/3 of the liver. And when they do a transplant from a living person, they will take the 2/3
I was
and
today
give it to
years old when I learned that a liver has multiple...
It gets crazier than that. So they'll take the large lobe of the liver and transplant it into someone, and the small lobe of your liver will grow to fill the entire thing.
Listen, are you guys fucking with me right now? Because know I went to Texas public education school systems, and I would totally believe that the livers have lobes.
Your liver your livers have lobes, and livers regrow at a crazy rate.
You guys are sending me on a drop bear snipe hunt, man.
To reference the aforementioned sadness, part of my dad's liver affliction did include cancer of the liver. And instead of trying to treat it or do any chemo, because your liver will just kill the cells around it and regrow, they would actually stick a wire in and superheat it at the end and burn out the cancer from the liver, and the liver would just regrow around that.
Hey. All right, I'm going to say, getting weird with it, I think that there's a reason we're not seeing some of the other characters we were used to. I'm thinking that all of Mickey's shenanigans finally caught up with him. Mickey got shot in the face. And everybody's like, okay, well, hey, Mickey's gone, but he's got this mostly okay liver. Hey, V, you know how to do this? And she's like, fine. And she puts the liver in Frank, and he's okay.
You think V did some backyard surgery?
Yes. Yes, I do.
That is awesome. Well, man, you totally sniped my idea, because I whipped out my handy little improv generator from 4N6 Fanatics, and my very first one was character Mickey Mouse, location Gypsy Camp, and situation planning a crime.
Oh, that's double bad. That's real racist of that generator.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna refresh. Okay, here we go. All right.
You want to cut him up?
Oh, I don't know about this, Frank.
You're gonna wake up in a bathtub full of ice.
It seems like a really bad idea, guys.
Okay.
We don't have to worry about sterilizing anything, because you're not gonna make it.
All right, then. Okay, so getting weird with it, Victor style. Frank, you know who we haven't seen in a while is, I think Chris was his name, the non-alcoholic who went to Alcoholics Anonymous.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Christopher.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they decided to take some kung fu lessons together. And they were out at the kung fu dojo, and it was really important to Frank to learn kung fu so he could impress, what's her name again? The Dolly Parton looking lady.
Queenie.
girlfriend, Queenie. Yeah,
Queenie.
he really wanted to impress Queenie with his kung fu skills. So him and Chris went into their attic at the house there, and in Chris's attic is just. You guys remember the clown guy from the first episode? Well, this makes clown guy look like fucking Mr. Rogers' neighborhood house. It's where
Oh,
he's
good.
got everything taxidermied. Every kind of animal that has ever lived on the planet is fucking taxidermied up in there, wearing clown hats.
Of course.
And he's like, whoa, okay. So he kind of freaks out Frank a little bit. But Frank's all just like, you know what? I shouldn't be surprised knowing you, Chris. So they're practicing their kung fu. And during a kung fu move, Chris slips on a mat and falls face first on a taxidermified unicorn. It goes right through his skull. And Frank is like, oh, fuck. So Chris is gone. And so he tries to like clean up the mess here. And he slips on the blood and passes out. But not before dialing 911 accidentally when he fell on Chris's phone. Or maybe it's didn't phones used to have, I turned it off, but didn't the iPhone have an update where it would automatically call emergency services if it detected raised voices or a shock or something?
Yeah, there were a couple
Yeah.
reasons it might. Yeah.
So Chris's smartphone had the beta version of that, so it automatically called the authorities. The paramedics would get there, and they're like, what the fuck is happening here? And they notice that Frank is almost dead anyway because he looks like a zombie. So they're all just like, well, you were in luck. You happen to have the same blood type as Chris, and here's your new liver. That's as fucking weird as I can possibly get with this. My improv generators said, Kung Fu Master in the attic coping with memory loss. So...
Okay. Well, that was sufficiently weird.
We then cut to Lip waking up in a car, sleeping one off with a professor.
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Weird.
I had some good relationships with some professors. Never that good.
He is the TA. They
Yeah,
make
did you
reference to
notice-
who's going to teach the class.
Did you notice in the beginning of the episode, Lip gave us our "Where the fuck were you last week?" and he's teaching a class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big ups for Lip in the time since we last saw him.
So
Yeah.
I gotta admit, I've never been to college. I didn't realize that was a thing. I didn't realize TAs would actually teach a class. That's a thing.
Sometimes, depending on the size of the class.
TAs are usually graduate students, so this would imply that
okay.
he's completed his undergrad already.
Wow, I would not ever have predicted that for Lip. But okay,
Yeah.
good. Good to see he's kind of getting his shit together.
Yeah, that schedule Amanda wrote was real efficient. And so
I need one of those in my life.
usually graduate students will help teach and take like a job with the university as a TA to help pay for their tuition. So it's not just a you're expected to teach kind of a thing, but it's a job that pays part of your tuition usually.
Oh, that's
But
good.
for him only having been in college for 3 years, unless like he blew through his undergrad, he should not be teaching a class.
Probably not. And also it's Lip, so I just am
that
immediately not trusting.
This might be evidence of I forget whose theory it was about the time skip. Because that's at least because like if Fiona is now a convicted felon, she must have spent. I think Xhafer, you had mentioned that she must have spent at least 1 year in jail.
Yeah, to be a felon, you have to spend a year in jail. So
Yeah,
if there's a time skip, that makes sense.
So we then cut back to the Gallagher household, where somehow they are putting a twisty slide in, which doesn't feel like it would be structurally feasible.
I want a slide in my house so bad.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but it's also like, hey, for the price of putting this slide in the house, there are 1,000 things more necessary that need to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure.
We also find out that Fiona got the house back So they had lost the house, like, totally. But it is now in her name on the deed, but Carl is the one paying for it. And how do we think he's paying for the house?
Drugs, clearly. But that's not my concern. My concern is, how do you think Little John would feel about these home decorations? Did you know that Little John has a home makeover show?
I believe you've told me about this, but I don't know.
It's
I don't know how this would help you. I don't know how this would help you keep away from the sheriff's men.
Wrong Little John, Ben.
Nah.
Anyways, Debbie is now a stay-in nanny who's pregnant.
Yeah.
And it's implied we later find out more about their relationship, but there's some implications off the bat here that are a little unsettling, and we find out the mom has cancer that's currently in remission.
Yep. And so, hey, Deb, you got to move out because now that the cancer's gone, now we have to deal with, hey, we have to pay for cancer because America's great. And so you've got to go. We can't keep paying you. And so Deb is now freaking out, thinking she doesn't have a place to live.
Yep.
We then see that Carol is still a going concern, showing up with a bunch of kids from church when we get some very, very sad prosperity gospel crap that I absolutely hate. And then a kid gives V a shiv.
They shanked him with a shiv, then they shivved him with a shake.
For the record, Ben, I want you to know that my notes here are Kevin V are watching a bunch of kids for church, prosperity gospel, I'ma just let Ben go off here.
It's just it requires you to actively ignore what the Bible says. We don't have a whole lot of direct quotes from Jesus. Hey, we got a Bible, not a whole lot of Jesus actually talking in it.
Yeah.
So it's not hard to have a very, very good grasp on all of the stuff we know Jesus has said.
Mm-hmm.
And how far people will bend over backwards to make up bullshit. I know I'm not talking to a theology class here, but who here has, you guys in common parlance heard the thing saying, oh, hey, actually when Jesus said getting a camel through the eye of a needle, it's talking about a gate inside the gate in one of the doors of Jerusalem. Have you guys heard that?
No, that's new to me.
So that is a thing I have heard since I was a kid. It's absolute bullshit. There is no gate in Jerusalem that was called the eye of a needle. So when Jesus said, hey, it's easier to get a camel through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into heaven, they weren't saying, oh, it's this hard, annoying thing you had to do when you were trying to get into Jerusalem after hours. He was like, no, it's fucking impossible. So we know where Jesus stands on this.
Jesus was a fucking hippie.
The one time Jesus got really mad,
he was a liberal ass hippie.
Over,
totally was.
He was knocking over tables of the money changers in the temple. Jesus does not support your capitalism.
Yeah, no. I've had this oh God. I don't talk politics with my mother anymore just for my own sanity because I don't understand her at all. Because she reminds me so much of Queenie in this episode, except right wing. Yes, it's the weirdest fucking thing. She's a Republican hippie. She's all about healing shit with the herbs, and yeah. And,
no. Natural medicine and Republican makes sense.
Yeah,
it does now. That's different.
Because they've redefined themselves in such a weird way. But
yeah,
I remember
because it's about not trusting doctors.
Yeah,
because that's something you're programmed to do. So that it's another point where you have to buy supplements or whatever fucking they're selling right now. Moving on, we meet Caleb as Ian brings him breakfast. He's working on a wedding gift, and he asks Ian to be his date. This is fun.
He says, "Hey, let's get Ian to be a firefighter, and the first step will get you to be an EMT." Yeah. Ian is a high school dropout. I don't think he can become an EMT.
So
I didn't know that was a thing, that you had to be an EMT before you could be a firefighter.
every firefighter I've known was also an EMT. And I've known 3 firefighters. So not a huge sample size, but also not negligible that it's true for all of them.
Yeah.
We then get my favorite scene in this entire episode, and that is Carl talking to his 2 friends from school that we are subtitling the early 2010s urban gangsta speak.
Oh, stewardess, I speak jive.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I would be interested in sitting in the production meeting where this decision was made.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it does not come from a place of kindness. But I'd like to know.
I'm wondering if this is the first time we've had subtitles for Carl on the show.
I'm guessing that this has been a bit of a running gag since his change in style and decor.
Yeah. Oh, and he was in juvie for a while, apparently. Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. So that brings up a question. Ben, what happened to her?
What the hell happened?
But I got the van.
Oh, that's easy. He got caught with Bonnie, and Bonnie screams, "I'm not going back to jail," does suicide by cop, while Carl is just there freaking out. And so now Carl is traumatized, then put into the system, and comes out on the other side, made all the worse for his time in the juvenile correctional facility.
Wow. Yeah, that's... Oof. I could see... Yep. Classic Bonnie.
Yep. Over at college, Lip gets fired, has an RA for painting his dorm room.
And we see the painting later, and you can tell, one, you don't paint the wall, like, don't make a painting on the wall of your dorm room. It also seems like this is the thing we can stick him for when he did something much worse.
This is the Capone taxes.
Yes.
I'm gonna say last time on, the faculty, who was it that told him he had to move out and he was fired as a TA? It wasn't the dean. It was somebody. I forgot who it was actually.
They didn't say who. Like, we didn't get this character's
Probably
name,
like an RHD, residence hall director. Yeah.
Whoever it was, I'm gonna say that Lip was banging their girlfriend, and that's
fair guess. Yeah. Over at the Gallagher household, Frank's grandson, Sammy's son, and we know that Goldie is grandmother here, shows up at the porch, kicked out of school for doing a book report on Mein Kampf.
Hans, are we the baddies?
Yep.
Frank is going to talk to the school board about it, and I am already cringing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Things that did not age well in this show.
Well, and we find out that this kid, Chucky, has also been in juvie. And
Isn't it?
Yep.
Frank's grandson?
Has also been in juvie, because they talk about how he learned this from the Nazis in juvie, and how the juvenile correctional system had not been properly taken care of him. And so, of course, what do you expect from him? This is one of those things where this still does make me very, very sad, where it's just like all we see from the adults in this kid's life is, how do we utilize this to manipulate people around me? And nobody's just like, hey, we're going to sit down and talk to you and, like, tell you to stop being a freaking Nazi. Nobody seems interested in that. Then we get the good news that Kevin and Veronica are going on vacation to beautiful Gary, Indiana.
Oh, is that where they went?
Yep.
What? Why? Okay. Why do I know Gary, Indiana? Was that the setting of a TV show?
Yes.
Oh, no. Now I know why it's triggering a core memory. There used to be. There's an Erie, Indiana, isn't there?
Yes.
That's from
that
a
is a
TV
TV show.
Okay,
Gary,
yeah,
Indiana
okay.
is
Okay.
known for being it is just a nasty, smelly factory town that has gotten worse now that manufacturing has kind of evaporated in America. So it was a not nice place to live, but with jobs. That is now just a not nice place to live with no jobs.
So is that where
Yeah.
where the Gary factories are that Vault-Tec acquired? Drop in.
Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically a suburb of Chicago, just a state over.
Oh wow, that close, huh? God,
Yeah.
I feel like I am really showing my lack of education every time I get on this podcast.
We're just really good at Googling. Like, don't worry
Okay.
about it.
Awesome.
Oh, I just know this stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've driven through Gary a couple times. It's where
You
Michael
are kind of a
Jackson's
genius,
from.
Ben.
So when Deb was being fired, there was a moment where she touched hands with the woman who was letting her go, and Deb has now decided, I'm not going to get kicked out. I'm going to seduce this woman, and is trying to do research on how to be gay.
Yeah. So yeah, she tries making some searches. They don't work. She really needs NordVPN to be able to make those searches. Nord, please sponsor us.
It's like she's in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, need that VPN. She decides to call Carl for help because she thinks Carl, of everyone she knows how to please a woman.
I thought about this, and you know what? Because yeah, it didn't.
Don't
make
call
sense at
Ian.
first. But then at first, yeah, you can't call Ian
No.
because he's. It seems Ian has run off, and he's doing his own thing
Yeah.
now. No one gets in touch with him.
Well, he's also gay.
And- yeah,
Lip.
I don't have a reason for why she wouldn't call Lip. I
I'm
feel like she
guessing
should've called
Lip-
because-
Maybe it's weird.
He's in it
'cause
for
he's
him.
too old.
Yeah, he didn't pick up the phone.
You could call Fiona. I feel like Fiona would be a better shot than Carl when it comes to how to please a woman.
Damn it.
We see Fiona working at a diner with her boo. And when she gets a call to come get Liam, since he has lice, it appears that Dermot is in charge of this diner, either a manager
he owns
or
it.
owner. Yeah.
The only way it makes sense is if he's the owner, and that's the only way that Fiona can get away with banging the boss is
Yeah.
if the boss owns the place. So
Yes.
blatantly in front of all the coworkers too.
Yeah. Some of
it's
the
not
diner
even-
feel that favorites are being played for sure.
Yeah.
We also see one waitress who I totally stan tackling the crap out of a Dine and Dasher.
I don't care what universe you're from. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
Which I have been a broke college student. I've never done this, so I am glad to see one of these people getting their comeuppance.
Lip packs up his stuff, and the secretary is there waiting for him. She tells him about a job at her sorority with room and board included, and also drops her Insta handle, like it's her number, which feels like something that a writer's room decided was hip at this time.
No, it's legit. That's the way the younger generation do it these days.
10 years ago?
Well,
Maybe 10
today
years ago?
okay.
It-
Maybe I didn't honestly know Insta was
in my experience dating in that time frame, it would have been Snap, probably.
Oh, okay.
But that's also probably a regional thing. Who knows?
Yeah.
Um,
And
That
this
was
further
some time
solidifies. There's further evidence of Ben's theory about about how Lip is based on a character written by an incel and their weird perception of life. Because it's like I've
All she
known
knows
guys-
about this guy is that he vandalized his room, and she's like, "How about you move in with me and a bunch of women?"
I actually don't think that's the case, Ben.
You think that she knows more?
Her waiting outside of his room like this as he's packing up is a little too planned for comfort. I think she's the one who ratted him out in the first place in an attempt to get him to take this job, in an attempt to bone him.
I like this conspiracy theory, yeah. And that also works with this theory of how Lip's character was written. It's like I've known guys who just seem to have all the luck with the ladies, but this is just fucking ridiculous. Lip just does nothing, and women are just throwing themselves at him. It's totally written by an incel-y type writer. Like, have you guys ever read Neuromancer by William Gibson?
No.
Oh, it's been a very long time.
It's completely obvious that Mr. Gibson had no experience with women at the time. Like the main character is just fulfilling his fantasy of what he wishes life was like.
Talking about hero protagonist?
Hero protagonist, yeah, who just does nothing, has zero personality, and women are just like throwing their vaginas at him, just out of nowhere. It's like, hey, what's going on? Oh, it's time for sex? Okay, I guess I'm cool with this. So,
worst character name ever.
What?
Hero protagonist. Isn't that the guy's name in Neuromancer, right?
No, No, I don't think so. No, he had a real name in Neuromancer. I remember. Are you thinking of? Are you thinking of Tenet? Where
that is it also does it, but hero protagonist is something that predates Tenet. Tenet, it is just protagonist.
Yeah. The guy...
I'm thinking Snow Crash. Sorry, Snow Crash is hero protagonist. The other foundational cyberpunk novel. Yeah! My bad. Okay. I apologize. Not Neuromancer. Snow Crash.
Check out that sexy nerd knowledge right there. Speaking of women throwing their vaginas at us, I know that our lady listeners are like, "Ooh, look at that sexy cyberpunk knowledge going on."
The book knowledge, maybe, but not the cyberpunk.
All four of our
knowledge.
lady listeners in the audience.
So, Carl's real bummed about Nick. Ian is the only cream in the coffee at this wedding. We find out Caleb's dad is a pastor. They ask him about his spiritual life, of which he has none.
Have you ever met someone for the first time and the first question they ask you is, "What church do you go to?" Like,
oh yeah.
That sent shivers down my spine.
I have a story of a particularly miserable first date I had with someone, where when I went to go pick her up, her parents were asking not just about my spiritual life, but about my parents' spiritual life. And when I noted that my father was Muslim and my mother was Lutheran.
Oh, I bet they were just...
The first question was, and they're still together? Yep.
Oh, man.
That's not even the worst first date Xhafer's been on.
It's on the list, but it's not the worst.
But
okay, real quick. What's everyone's worst first date? Because I got it. I got a doozy.
Bad dates.
You want to see this one?
Victor, I can tell this one. I can tell this one real quick. I married my first girlfriend.
Oh yeah, I remember you said that before.
Yeah.
So that's
yep. So I only had really the one.
Congrats. I actually am super jealous of that. That's amazing to have something. I've never had a relationship that lasted more than, I think, 3 years was my record. But anyway, so good job, Ben.
I got very lucky.
You did. Do you want to tell your first date story, Vic?
Yeah. Okay, so so this was I think this was actually might have been the last time I actually went on a Tinder date. This was back in like 2017. Anyways, that's not important. This was when I learned to start trusting my dog's judgment. Like whenever my dog Mocha doesn't like someone, that's a sign. Like it's okay. So we had been talking ahead of time, and I knew, like she told me she was a recovering alcoholic. So I'm like, cool. That's all right. Everything's good. Yeah. And so we spent the day together, and we just seemed to click really well. We go back to my house. I introduce her to my dog, and Mocha just immediately is like, nope, 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 nope. She goes and runs behind my legs. And it's like when this girl is going to trying to pet her, she's like, nope, nope, nope. So anyway, so then we go back out again, and I think we go play pool or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And we were just vibing really well. We come back to my place, and she asked if she can go out to my porch to have a smoke. And I'm like, sure, go ahead. And I'm playing Hearthstone on my phone, and like while she's out smoking, and I completely lose track of time. I go back out there to check on her, and she is passed the fuck out on my front porch. And she has an empty bottle of gin in her purse. And I'm talking a whole ass bottle of Tanqueray that is fucking empty. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. So I like pull her, pull her inside, put her to bed on the, and go to sleep because it's like super late at this point. I wake up in the middle of the night and she has peed in my bed.
Oh.
I wake up, it's like 3 a.m. and I'm just like, what is this? I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. So I go, I take a shower, I sleep the rest of the night on the couch, call her an Uber in the morning, and then I called IKEA and found out that they deliver. Got a new fucking mattress that day. So the moral of that story is listen to your dog, people.
All right. I haven't had anyone pee in my bed, so I guess you win. I did go on a first date with someone, and we had talked a bit, not a ton, but while we were at our date, we figured out that we went to the same college at the same time frame.
Oh, cool.
And Ben knows this story.
Oh, Ben's got it.
Ben's nodding. It's a
fun
story.
I wish the listeners at home could see Ben's fucking face right now, because I just know this is about to get good.
Yeah, Ben
this is about to take a hard right.
And so find out that we went to same college at the same time. I knew that she was in the art program, right? And I'm like, oh, well, my roommate was in the art program. Like my best friend from high school, like, my brother, right? And so I start describing him. He's like, oh, maybe we know this guy, And I knew a couple people in the art program. I think I had described our former co-host Chris before this from Draft the Universe. A couple people that I knew in that. And then I'm all like, I get to Jay, and I start describing Jay. And I like start doing his mannerisms and stuff. Like he does this thing all the time. And he, it's like dopey smile, does this, tries to lift things he shouldn't. She's all like, Jason? Jason? Oh my God, do you still talk to him? Because I should not be around him drunk. I had the biggest crush on him. And I'm just like, oh, yep, well, he's my brother. We lived together for all these years. I call his parents Mama and Papa. Like, no, like, I see him every day. And that was basically the end of the date. And under normal circumstances, that would be the end of the story. But this is not normal circumstances. We flash forward 4 months, 5 months maybe. I am living with Ben. Ben's sister-in-law is getting married. So we go and we run some errands, and the bridal party is getting ready at Ben's house. And I walk in after running an errand to pick up stuff for the wedding, and who is standing outside my bedroom door but this same girl who is the wedding photographer for the wedding, taking pictures of the bride getting ready. So I have to sneak around her, get into my room, and I immediately just like face down on the bed, can't believe this, text Ben and our other roommate at the time is, oh my God, the wedding photographer is keep me away from J-Girl.
Nice.
So that's a fun one. But no one peed in my bed, so.
No.
Oh, man. And next time if this comes up again, I'll tell you about my second worst date where this was crazy. I dated an actual cult girl, an Ethel. And it was just one date, but because, that was weird. But yeah, that's a story for another time. So.
Okay.
All right. So at this point, I'm going to say I'm getting real bad vibes from Caleb, because Caleb, the guy taking Ian to the wedding,
has
not warned Ian about any of this.
Oh, this is
and he has brought Ian here as a hand grenade like to be gay at his family.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, okay, I get that the homophobia, that is bad. Tricking this guy who has a crush on you to come to a wedding so that you can use him as a gay cudgel against your family.
It's
Even
your
though
pastor
Ian turns
father.
into it.
Your
Even-
evangelical pastor father.
Gay Cudgel has to be the name of this episode.
He needed to have like found out about this before he shows up there.
Yeah.
Gay Cudgel is my new favorite, Ben.
Gay Cudgel.
After this, we get Frank in front of the principal. Frank tells us all assholes are entitled to their point of view. Hey, Frank, quick question. Did you spend January 6th passed out in a hotel room in D.C. asking for a friend? A friend in the FBI.
One thing that Frank did there, he said you should at least give the boy some credit for his grammatical accuracy. I don't even know if grammatical is a word. But grammatical accuracy. I'm not sure, but I remember learning that Mein Kampf is one of the worst grammatical books ever written. Like, it's full of grammatical spelling errors. I don't know if that's true or not. I've never read Mein Kampf, so...
I mean, I'm not going to check because it's not worth my time to check. And also, like, I don't give a shit if it's true because the content is terrible. So
I was just wondering if
sure.
that was a implied joke there. Anyway,
I don't know. I do appreciate that the teachers here are just like, man, if he'd just like, if it had even just been a book report on Mein Kampf, okay, it is a explicitly pro Mein Kampf book report he did in front of his Jewish teacher, and it's just like,
the camera work on this scene is chef's kiss, because I didn't even notice that the teacher was wearing the
yarmulke.
Yes, that until the camera hit it from a different angle.
I refuse to accept that this kid was able to read this book.
I done told you spent time playing with this stupid boy, can't read.
Yeah.
He does not seem that bright.
I guess that's the end, actually. I guess in the little after credits bit that we do find that out, don't we? That he didn't actually read the book. On top of it
I was
all.
going to say last time on, he needed to finish this book report, and he just went to a random site and copied and pasted some neo-Nazis fucking rhetoric.
Just Googled Mein Kampf and whatever it said. Yeah.
Yeah, he just looked for most influential books in history, top 10 list off of BuzzFeed, and it was just like, okay, I don't know, number 8, Mein Kampf. Okay, sure, that sounds good. Let me copy and paste this. At least that's the excuse I'm making for him. This poor kid.
We then cut over to the sorority house where Lip has the easiest job interview ever with the person doing the least work I've ever seen of anybody doing a job interview. Hey, what was your last job? I was a residence hall assistant. Why did you lose that job? For vandalizing my room. Hey, maybe I don't hire you to come and live in our sorority house. Like,
this is completely...
Nope, he gets the job.
He is incel fantasy villain. Fully and completely, dude, because there's no fucking way this happens in reality. I don't care how good looking you are or how charismatic you are. Like, you don't get that job.
I'm sure this will end well. Frank, Queenie, and their grandson go to the Alibi to celebrate successfully threatening a public school.
And I wanted to throw this out there real quick. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sidetrack too much, but how it ends, that scene was very poorly written. How it ends with Frank threatening to go to the DA and the ACLU. No fucking teacher would ever take that threat seriously. They're like, dude, there is no DA and there is no fucking way the ACLU is going to defend someone for making a book report on Mein Kampf. Like, come on, dude. That is not. It would have been better. The way I would have written it is that the teachers say, like, go right ahead. No DA, no fucking, even in Detroit with all its corruption, no one's going to publicly do that. But Frank would have been like, no, but I'm going to make a big fucking deal about it, and it's going to be all in the paper, and it's going to cause you a huge headache. Like, that would have been more believable. So
Frank saves Debbie from having to sleep with her employer to continue having a roof. Things start to escalate, and then she gets the call, and she just runs out.
Which, this is so gross. Debbie starts trying to seduce this person who should not, like, this adult should not be okay with this. Mm-hmm. And so when we find out, like, she seems pretty okay with this, I'm like, okay, well, you know, I'm sorry about your cancer, lady, but screw you.
Debbie did lie about her age at the very least. Apparently she thought, she did mention that she thought Debbie was 18, and at the end she was like, by the way, I'm 15 and I'm not a lesbian. So. Yeah. Oh, that was awkward. That was more awkward than her pulling up the picture of the shocker, trying to figure out how to properly apply the shocker.
Fucking Carl.
Listeners in the Discord, let us know, does the shocker actually work?
No. No, Victor. Bad. I'm spray bottle through the...
You were so close to graduating podcaster school, Vic. So close.
This is, man, if you guys only knew, this is so on brand for me.
Fiona comes home with Liam to Carl's party and crashes. Pastor Dad does the wedding at Ian and Caleb.
Yep.
And then Kevin tries to get V to relax.
Yeah, they are staying at a very gross hotel that I'm pretty sure Xhafer and I have stayed at during our travel for
100%
for doing retail work.
Yeah.
This is which one was it for horrible. You? Because I stayed at this hotel and it was a Red Roof Inn for me. So
to be perfectly honest, I might have stayed in this hotel in Gary, Indiana. Like I don't remember spending too much time in Gary, but
I remember this specifically reminds me of the hotel I stayed at in Mount Pleasant. It was I believe Budget Inn.
Ooh, yeah, that's that one too. Yeah.
It was the one that my dad had rented for us when I went and did my visitation up there to see if that's where I wanted to go to school. And it was the cheapest hotel in a town where hotels aren't that expensive.
Yeah.
And my dad was just like, what? It's the cheapest one. And I believe it had bed bugs. My mom ended up sleeping in the truck. It was just gross to the point where I did end up going to school there, and when we came back like 2 months later to move me in, the hotel was gone. It had been condemned and destroyed.
Nice.
I mean, I've slept in probably like honestly, like how many different hotels have I slept in over the years?
Shit, man.
500, 600 different hotels at least. I've only gotten bed bugs once. It did suck. That was a very shitty day.
I had spider bites at a hotel at the Sheridan Hotel in Seattle. I don't think I've ever had bed bugs, but fucking spiders? Ugh.
Yeah, no. Bed bugs because you wake up covered in blood.
Yak.
Because, their bites, they bleed. And that's like they're sucking your blood and then they F off, but you still keep bleeding. Unlike mosquito bites that seal.
It must be a miracle then, because I've slept in some shady fucking hotels and I've never had bed bugs before.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I eat a lot of garlic, and I've heard that garlic makes your blood less appetizing to certain insects. But anyway,
I mean, I eat a lot of garlic and mosquitoes tend to not bother me. So
yeah. Veronica does mention, hey, hold up. Let's go hit up the buffet downstairs that has free all-you-can-eat hot dogs and buffalo wings. That sounds great at first. I would not trust the hot dogs and buffalo wings at a hotel like this.
The drunkest I've ever been in my life was at a hotel in Wooster, Ohio, and it was $1 hot dogs, beers, and shots, and $2 you call it mixed drinks. And 3 of us on those prices alone rang up a tab of over $120.
Nice.
I got fucked up.
Oof.
Anyways, Fiona delaces as Carl goes to Nick's parents and offers them cocaine to help pay for the funeral.
Well, I don't think that
This is straight out of Always Sunny.
I don't think that was Nick's parents. Like, so I'm going to say
Nick killed a guy.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I shot a kid.
Oh, I thought Nick got
Nick
killed.
No, because it's mentioned. It seems to be that the way it was presented that Nick is in jail for murder, and I'm gonna say, like last time on, what happened was, like I think this is my theory. This is like my legit theory that what happened was Nick was Carl's best friend in the drug dealer business that they were doing, and they had to go. Someone owed them money, and Carl pulled the Bonnie routine and telling Nick that no, it's a fake gun. Here, we're just going to go scare this guy, and things things escalated. Nick grabbed the gun, and it went off, and it ended up killing the kid who owed them money. Or actually, I'm going to say it's even worse. There was a struggle. The gun went off and killed some random kid playing basketball or whatever down the street. Actually, this is getting kind of really depressing, but this is a depressing episode. So yeah, that's how it happened. And then the police came, and yeah, kid's in jail, but Carl got away, and he's got some guilt. This was a pretty heavy episode, and I for a show that's supposed to be a comedy, but I got to say, 6 seasons in, I think they earned it. You know, they earned having a very special episode moment. So yeah, they've taken their time establishing the characters and everything. So yeah, this was
have they? We don't know.
Well, we don't know, but I'm saying, like, just analytically speaking, here it's had 6 seasons
statistically,
yeah. So that's well over 100 episodes by now, I think. So yeah, I felt like they hadn't earned it in the very first episode when they tried to show us that the romantic moment between Fee and Steve, at the subway station, having their love at first sight moment. It's like, dude, we barely know these fucking characters, you know. So it's like, but 6 seasons in, I feel like, this is a good. I approve.
Lip gets evening plans as Debbie arrives back home to be greeted by Frank. He introduces her to Queenie, who is going to give her a whole load of nature's healing.
One note here, I don't know if you guys caught it. We find out that Queenie is the sister to the woman who was the mother of all of the kids we know.
Wait, what?
Oh, yes. I missed that.
I totally missed that.
So Frank had a baby with Queenie. Queenie, disappears off to be a hippie with Sammy and then eventually Charles. Frank then hooks up with her sister and has all of the Gallaghers we know and love.
Oh, wow. Well, Frank has 90% of the Gallaghers that we know and love. Poor Liam.
All right. Well, after this, Kevin V fuck in front of a dead guy.
In the pool. I think, look, the big concern is the fucking pool where another couple was fucking just like 10 minutes earlier.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not skeezy. It's skeezy. And I'm not saying it's something I would do, because it's not something I would do. But I am saying that pool has enough chlorine in it where it's probably, like, the health concerns are not coming from the other couple fucking in that pool. Let me put it that way. The health concerns are coming with exposure of skin and certain areas to that pool's chlorine environment.
I feel like I need a hepatitis shot just from watching that scene, man.
For sure. It gross. Ian recounts to Caleb his last wedding attended, which is Mickey and Silvana's, a literal shotgun wedding.
Literally.
We get a cut back home of Carl needing therapy, Lip being weird with that photo. Like, he has a photo of like a naked girl sleeping.
So
right,
that I'm gonna say right here, because he later goes and he is yelling at a girl.
Yeah, yelling out a window.
It is my. We also see, so that's Helene. We also see that it has the painting in the background that is from his dorm. So I'm going to say what happened last time on is Lip took this photo of his sleeping half-naked girlfriend and then, being a dumbass, shared it around. There is no proof that it was taken by Lip, but everybody knows it was taken by Lip.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So he couldn't get kicked out of being a prey because you sent out a topless photo of a student. It's, we can only nail you for painting your wall.
So you were real eager to jump in here with your last time on, so I let you do it. I also have a last time on here, and it's 90% of what you said, but you seem to have missed one crucial detail, Ben. This is not a student's house. This is a nice house in a nice neighborhood with one car.
This was faculty.
This is faculty. This is a professor, 100%.
Ooh.
I'd be willing to put money down.
I'm putting money down that it is the sister or like wife or ex-wife of the woman who fired Lip. Like, personally, that's what I think.
I just assumed that it was some people living in off-campus housing.
Fair.
Not student housing, but like, hey, 7 of us have rented a house that was meant for 4 people.
The yard was too well kept. There weren't enough cars.
Fair enough. Lip does seem like the kind of guy who would take a naked photo of a member of faculty.
Yeah. Back at the wedding, Ian agrees to help Caleb make his family uncomfortable. The dad was so motionless when he looks at them dancing, I thought he might have died for a moment.
Dude,
I left space in case we find out he died.
That scene with the close-up of dad, pastor dad, just infuriated. Man, I am just amazed that has not become a meme template, because that is just fucking... As a matter of fact, after this episode, I'm going to turn that into a meme template and be all just like, put some funny text. I'll think of something. It's going to be hilarious. Viewers, stay tuned.
I believe in you.
And what bothered me so much about the wedding thing is what we know about Ian. I feel like Ian, if I forgot his name already, but
Caleb,
the boyfriend, Caleb. If Caleb just would have been straight up honest with him, Ian totally would have been down.
Be straight up.
But yeah, if he had just been honest with him about how he wanted to, freak out his homophobic family, Ian totally would have been down.
Yeah,
he totally would have been down. Because we see Ian can fucking dance on the dance floor too.
He can.
Yeah.
Sean gets Carl to talk a little bit, at least.
All right, and we have a bit here where Fiona is feeling kind of like separated from her family. Like, she's used to being the one who's needed, but
she's not needed anymore. Yeah,
she's not there anymore, keeping everything together, and things aren't going great, but they are continuing. And she is devastated when Liam says, "I want Debbie to put me to bed, not you."
Yeah.
And so we get a moment where she says, "Hey, I will move in with you, Dirty Steve. I will."
Dirty Steve. I really appreciated that scene with the talk with Carl and Young Guns guy. Fuck, why am I forgetting his name?
Dermot
already?
Mulroney.
Yeah,
Dirty Steve.
Sean, I believe is his character name.
His name is Sean. Yeah.
I felt like I really liked that scene. Like, I was waiting for something funny to happen, but no, dude, that was really deep. And I appreciated it, and I got vibes that Sean is totally. This is my last time on for Sean. This guy absolutely has ex-cop vibes. Totally. Like, he was working the beat in Detroit, and he got fired for drinking on the job. And
You know
that
this
is
show takes
exactly-
place in Chicago, right?
God damn it, dude! Why do I always... Where? What? Okay, fine. Some city with a lot of crime and cars. Okay.
Like Chicago.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. But okay, whatever. Carry on, guys. Carry on.
Yeah.
Next scene.
Yeah. Frank and Queenie are having dessert at the dinner table here just to ruin everyone's appetites. Sean asks Fiona to move in with him. They leave quickly. And this is all interspersed with Philip yelling at Helene's house.
Yes.
What the fuck, Lip? Dude, he just gets worse every episode, man. It's like,
Yep.
you landed the dream job after getting fired from a dream job. And, dude, you're in a sorority house. And I was curious if this is actually a thing. Is houseboy a thing in a sorority house? Like, I've never heard of this before.
I did not want to Google it because I have a feeling the results would not be safe for work.
That's why you should fire up NordVPN before you Google something.
Yes! Sponsor us, Nord.
But it also does seem like, I don't know what college Lip is supposed to be going to. Is it, I don't know, maybe Northwestern?
Oh, they mentioned it before on the show, last episode, but I don't remember.
The
Yeah.
sorority house we see, I've seen the frats at, many colleges. This is like nice. So this might be a thing that you're not going to see at your sorority house in most places. But when you get to one of these big money colleges, suddenly you get weird stuff happening. We also see that Lip he is passed out and ignoring Toria, who has come down to try and
the booty call. Yeah. Basement, sorority house basement booty call. Yeah. God damn it, Lip. So this is the first time I've ever seen Jeremy Allen White. I mean, I know he's won an Oscar. So is his performance, I'm just assuming his performance is completely different in The Bear and that wrestling movie that he's in?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
Both are really good. Both The Bear and The Iron Claw are fantastic and worth your time. Yeah.
We also find out now Fiona has lice.
Yeah. Sean helps though.
That was an
boyfriend.
adorable scene with Fiona in the bathtub, just looking like a puppy. as Sean
uses the wrong comb.
Oh God, yeah, Ben, you've got a kid. You've probably been here before, have you? I mean, I don't want to.
I fortunately have not, but I have worked in a pharmacy, so I have sold lice combs. They are special things. You can't just use a regular comb. Lice are too small. So, yeah.
Yep. Chucky gets to give his presentation to credits.
That was probably the worst written part of this episode. The whole Chucky B plot, C plot, D plot. I don't know. This show had a lot of plots. Yeah.
SS plot.
Nice.
And with that, gonna roll some dice.
Hey, dude, at least it's better. This episode was better than the motherfucking episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's a low bar, but...
I rolled a 14, which is going to take us to Season 7, Episode 9, Ouroboros.
Oh, Ouroboros? No, the first time I ever heard this term as a kid was when I was watching Red Dwarf, and the British pronounce it Ouroboros.
Okay.
Yeah.
Monica returns to the skeptical Gallagher family with some surprising news. Fiona tries to keep her cool after a nasty Yelp review.
Oh, God.
Okay.
So that's us next time. But before we get there, let's make some predictions.
It's time for the predictions.
Lincoln, what are you doing up there?
Guessing? I guess no one's coming.
I have seen into the future.
You ruined the prophecy.
I've got mine. I'm going to say daytime. Easy. Lip gets kicked out of the sorority house.
Yeah. That's a given.
My
Give yourself a point already.
evening prediction, Caleb turns out to be super toxic. Ian is not the problem in that relationship. It is Caleb. And my prime time, Queenie dies.
Ooh, God, she's going to have an overdose of lavender or something. Yeah.
I've got another 3 we will never seize. Although I do have one that's slightly different than all my previous ones. But in daytime, we're never going to see Helena.
Helena's the actual mother of the Gallagher.
No, Helena is the girl, Helene.
Oh,
we saw a picture of her topless.
Yeah, so we, 3 of us, are never going to see her.
The 3 of us
Okay.
will never see
Yeah.
us. We won't see Lip in college next time we see him. He's going to be kicked out. Or dropped out, whatever. I'm not defining the circumstance, but we won't see Lip in college. And then prime time, we will not see Sean again.
Which one was Sean? Oh, Sean's the
Current
Dirty
boyfriend.
Diner, yeah, current Steve.
Which
Diner
I
Steve.
actually wonder about because the Yelp review makes me think that I might be already failing that one.
Yeah.
But I also, maybe she takes over the restaurant and he dies or something. That'd also be this show.
Well,
So.
this ties into my daytime prediction, which I made all my predictions before the show started. My daytime prediction of all of Xhafer's predictions this time are wrong. So
Ooh, meta. Okay, I like that.
my evening prediction is we are going to get a new opening sequence. Like how many
We're
seasons
due
in?
for one. We're 6 seasons right now. So
6.
Yeah, there's gonna be a new opening sequence, but my primetime prediction is we're gonna have the same theme song all the way to the end.
Okay.
Much like the theme song, much like the song for the theme of this show by Goon Squad. God damn, I have just failed.
Oh, you were
University
so
again.
close, Vic. So close to
God.
repassing
All right.
podcasting
Back to my
university.
apprenticeship. Xhafer, take us out. All right, let me just leave it to the professionals.
Well, if I've got to take us out, I'm going to take us out with a dance and song, and that song's going to be Goon Squad by Ripe, which is our theme music. Thank you so much, Ripe, for letting us use it. They're touring all summer. Be sure to check them out. They're fantastic. You can also listen to them on your favorite streaming services.
You to you, the listener. You're the reason we keep coming back and doing this every week. If you enjoy our podcast, feel free to leave us a 5-star review on Facebook or iTunes or wherever you find your podcasts, and we will give you a shout out here on the show. And if you don't like our show, keep that shit to yourself and feel free to join the Last Time On Listeners Lounge, where you can interact with our other listeners and help us with predictions. That is Last Time On Listeners Lounge. Password to get in is Wahopahar.
We actually do have a review as well.
Yes!
Woo! LeBradfee posts 5 stars running with my buds. I've recently returned to running after a long hiatus, and listening to Last Time On while practicing is a little treat yourself moment for me. My buds take a random walk through a show I may or may not know and make goofs and often hilarious right or wrong guesses about the overall plot. It's a great laugh for me that makes me forget trying to rebuild your cardio stamina is hard. Thanks to
brother.
Ben and Victor.
Oh,
so
dude,
nice.
that is great to hear. I love to hear it because, and especially, dude, shout out to you, brother, because I have been there. I've been horrible at running my entire life, and 20 years of being in the fucking military, I had to do it, and I understand your pain so much. Brother, take some glucosamine. It'll help out, be easier on your joints. So good luck to you, man.
Yeah, good luck on your fitness journey, and thanks for letting us share it with you. Let me know your steps so I can put them in my work step challenge that I'm currently doing this month. I feel like that counts. So if I can co-opt a couple thousand steps from you for my work challenge, just send us an email and let me know. Thanks.
And feel free to join us on the What Happened Here Discord. The link is in the Listener Lounge. We have lots of wonderful discussions going on over there with all the members of our podcasting family. And We will see you next time on Last Time.